welcome to the Kids Around Dogs YouTube channel. And
Hello.
we have a very special guest today, and her name is Nina Fotara. I hope I pronounced it right. Thank you.
You did.
From Confident Canine. You're in Essex, aren't you?
I am, yeah, Essex, yeah.
So I like to tell you how I found out about Nina, and that is the power of Facebook, I guess. Good things about Facebook. As you know, I'm all about force-feed training, and one of the issues that I've been having is gun dog training. I am not a gun dog trainer. As probably many professionals out there, kind of looked a little bit into it. It's not something that I wanted to really completely dive in. So it's kind of just been left there as one of the things I know a little bit about, and that's it. But I've never trained a client in that aspects particularly. One thing that I am very passionate about being a force-feed trainer is the dream of one day seeing dogs without sleep collars and head collars and all that. But one of the things that people often say to me is, oh, I'm using head collars or sleep collars, sleep leads because my dog is a gun dog, or because we're doing gun dog training. And I was like, that's not good enough for me. I'm not happy with the answer. It didn't satisfy me. So I took it upon myself to find out, reach out to holistic gun dog trainer, and I found you in particular. I really liked your website and everything. It's been lovely chatting with you online as well. And so here we are today. But dive in a little bit in your professional background, if you don't mind. What do you do? Like, how did you become who you are today?
Yeah, God, that's a long one. I'll make it as short as I can. So originally, way back when, I actually started in energy work first. So that's part of my holistic training now. I actually fell into doing Reiki. It wasn't something I planned to do, but I found Reiki, which is essentially energy work. And I was lucky enough to go and do my Reiki Masters with Franz Stein, who wrote The Japanese Art of Reiki in Glasgow. He's amazing. And he really opened up things for me, because when I first learned, I had a lot of questions. There was a lot of things that we had tagged on in the West about, grounding, picturing tree roots, all these kind of things. I was like, but I don't understand, because as soon as I even think about treating someone, I can feel the energy. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make sense that I need to do all this preparation, because it just happens. So he really opened that up and made me appreciate how it's everywhere, it's everything. And then obviously science does back that up. Everything is made up of, vibrational energy. So that was the background in the energy side. And then I got my first gun dog because my daughter wanted a dog. She had always wanted a dog. I've got so much stuff from her, from toddler up, talking about dogs. And we wanted a dog that would be active. And the books made Weimaraner sound like it was going to be active, but nowhere near as much as they are. And so we got this beautiful long-haired Weimaraner from a lovely couple of breeders. Bought it home, all excited. And over the first sort of, up until the teens, it was a complete baptism of fire.
Bless you.
He was absolutely lovely, like the best heart, the most beautiful dog, but ultra sensitive. All gun dogs are sensitive, but you've definitely got your ultra sensitive ones, and Weimaraner's definitely in there. But also he had a lot of behaviours that I didn't understand, and I couldn't get trainers to help me understand it either. So I had lots of trainers in to help me because I didn't know about dogs then, but none of them were like the right trainers. And it was only when I fell into Gundog that they partially understood my dog. And when I say partially, it's because I can look back now and see how much of what I teach now was missing then, which is, that they are sentient beings with feelings, emotions, and energy sensitivities. But the actual working side, I found a lovely guy who wasn't aversive, didn't do anything to my dogs or didn't tell me to do anything to my dogs, but he showed me how to watch them work and appreciate how they work naturally and work with them. So I was really lucky to find him. Trevor Rigby, fantastic guy. He's retired now, I believe, but he was amazing. So most of the behavioural problems I had actually disappeared as soon as my boy was working.
Okay. Yeah.
They just left. Like walking him had been a nightmare till then, and we joined up a lot, but we still had some bits missing, which we actually connected up more during trick work. We found some positive trick schemes, and we were doing that, and that built a lot more. So that just took me into positive in general, basically realizing that actually
it was a whole new world for you, I guess.
It was, yeah, because anything I did that was Gundog, that wasn't with very specific people, was very, they're trying to take the Mickey and they're trying to own the universe. And it was very, very, that's how they all believed it should be. And I remember being told off at a working test once because after my puppy had completed what she needed to complete, I rewarded her with a treat. And I actually got told off for doing that in front of everybody. Yeah. And told that they didn't want to see them again. And the treat.
Gosh, it was crazy.
It was crazy. And she did really well, but they couldn't focus on that, just the fact she choose to treat. So I ended up deviating into all sorts of different things, but in positive ways. So with my Gundogs, we've done tracking and blood tracking and working, rough shooting and working beating and working tests and all sorts of things. So what's been lovely about that is the different people I've worked with. So we've also done agility and obedience competition. So I've got very different pieces. So I'm not coming from just a Gundog background, if you like. So I've got a lot of things that, are outside the box for Gundog. But essentially where I've ended up now is the beginnings of me has always been animals are sentient beings. I've grown up just very feeling with animals, just having good feelings being around them and wanting to just share time with them. And once I'd kind of got the training background, the energy just made more sense. I wasn't concentrating then on learning practicalities, and it then kind of allowed me to step back and start to bring the energy back. And it just makes all the difference. I personally feel I don't know how you can be holistic without the energy section, because we are energy and we understand energy even when we don't know we're understanding it, like our body recognizes it. And dogs work with it all the time. I mean, I had a brilliant example the other day. My old girl, Rhea, she's 13 and a half. So when she sleeps, she is out of it. She is dead. So she's asleep, but she's asleep by the water bowl. So one of my younger girls, Rosa, wants to have a drink. And she's looking at Rhea and she's going, but she's a bit close to the water bowl. I don't know if I can have a drink. And she went and she stood over Rhea. And she didn't say anything. She didn't do anything. She stood there and you could see, she just got her head to the side and you could just see her working it. And all of a sudden, Rhea looks up and then just moves. And Rosa goes and has her drink. When Rhea needs the toilet in the night, she does the same to me. She stands by me in silence and I will wake up because I will feel the energy and go, oh, okay, darling, out we go. And I just don't see how you can work with any animal and not realize how energy is such a huge part of their world naturally.
And in many things as well, like, you were saying that in the night your dog stares at you. How many times you had kids? How many times were you waking up when the kids were little and they were just staring at you in the middle of the night like some stalking ghosts? You go, oh my God. You just know you're fast asleep, dreaming of whatever. They're at an island probably. But no, they're staring at you. And
you just wake up feeling it, don't you? You just know. And energy's just operating all the time. People will ask me, for examples, if maybe they don't actively know they're working with it, because a lot of people can be sensitive but not know it. And it is little things like, queuing in a supermarket. You could queue next to somebody one day, not a problem. Someone else stands in that spot the next day and you just want to shift away, and it doesn't mean their energy's bad, but it's probably not so compatible with yours. So you just want to, house hunting, you arrive, you pull up outside, there's nothing wrong. It looks nice, but there's this feeling, it's like I don't want to even look round it.
The same is when we lose someone, or even someone leaves the room, don't you think? Like their energy either lingers or you can't carry on the same activities because their energy is gone and it doesn't feel quite right.
It's not the same anymore. Or you walk into places and something's happened Maybe there's been a crossword, and maybe now they're just drinking a cup of tea, but you walk in and think, oh, what's happened here?
Yeah, yeah. So
And there's there,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I just think it's really important that actually I want to see a real change in the way we train dogs, and I want more people actively learning energy, and how to work with it and how important it is, because it makes such a difference.
Absolutely.
And I teach, so my tagline is balancing both ends of the lead. So it's not about just train your dog and this is how you do it. It's also, so what's happening with you, and you know, how do you feel about this? And okay, so let's give you tools to work on this, or you know, let's do something to get your energy in a better space. So yeah, that's what I'm all about basically. It's about much more than just, you know, how to teach your dog to do some Gundog work.
As I mentioned to you, you know, before as well, we talked and at the beginning of this as well, how at least personally I've seen, or maybe as well in the area where I live, which is Dorset, it's difficult to find someone who would follow this ethos, that would follow our ethos for spree professionals when working with gun dogs and when training specifically in that activity, in the sport. We say at crafts as well all the time, you know, that's on gun dog days, like a sleep lead day, basically. And again, that their excuse is that the dog should be, or their excuse, I don't mean to say
reason.
a bad way, but this is what they tell me, is that when a dog does gun dog training or activities, the dog has to be naked, so that's why there's the lip lead. Now, again, I come from very little knowledge of this, and that's why, again, I need you as such. Is it, first of all, is it true that the dog has to be naked?
Yes.
Without any clothes on?
Yes.
Private part when doing gun dog, and why is that?
Yeah, so I'm going to split that into two first. So crafts with your slip leads and things for showing, that's obviously different there because they're just in the show ring. And I have used slip leads on my girls at crafts. And I think the difference for me, and this is going to come back into the gun dog as well, is what you're doing. You can have a slip lead to show, and as they run round, it's just hanging. Or you can have a slip lead to show, and as you go round, they're going, and you know, it's completely different. And I know that they are trying to move now more towards it being shown on a loose lead. But the working, they have to be naked because essentially if you send a dog out to do the jobs that they do in a collar and a leash, they're in real danger of ending up, you know, strung up on something in a forest, caught up on something and not being able to come back. So they have to be naked. And what the slip lead has always just been intended for is literally just to safely be able to take up your dog in between and to just have like that connection with your dog when they're not working. But what seems to me that I see is that, yes, on a shoot day that happens. So again, I will use a slip lead with my dog, but again, it's the noose isn't done up, it just hangs around their front. But what I see so much, and I know you will have done as well online, if you go to some of these gun dog places, and the things that I get told and the things I've been through in the past before I knew any different, is that whole putting it round and then pulling on it. Just, I mean, what is that about? At the end of the day, for me, I have loads of people turn up with their gun dogs for gun dog training with their slip lead, and it's the first thing I address as they've just come through that gate, is what the alternative should be, and obviously when they should be using a slip lead and when they shouldn't. And if you're not working your dog, you don't need to have it on a slip lead. No. But it's also, I don't believe you should have your dog on a slip lead for walking, like not just sitting next to you in the field, like for walking, if it can't walk on a loose lead. Because even if it's a gun dog that works, if it can't walk nicely, it's still going to hurt itself. It's still going to hurt itself. And one of the other things I see with a lot of people that come to me, especially with the younger gun dogs, or maybe like the teens where they're struggling, is it makes the struggle worse. So a lot of people believe that it's like a magic tool, and that if they have a gun dog, they put a slip lead on, and magically that will be what makes them walk.
Yeah.
But actually, what you do is for a dog who doesn't understand how to loose lead walk, you cause a lot more angst, you cause a lot more stress, because effectively I was going to say they're trying to learn something whilst not being comfortable. But again, the biggest thing I see the problem with loose lead walking is the teaching of it. Because if you're using a slip lead to pull and hurt the dog, you're not teaching anything.
Yeah.
You know, then the only lesson in there is pain.
Yeah.
But if you're using a nice method to teach them loose lead walking, which for me wouldn't involve a slip lead, because it's not necessary. It's not because it couldn't be done nicely, but because the slip lead doesn't add anything, so you might as well have it on a collar lead or whatever. But for me, it needs to be done nicely. It needs to be done kindly. They need to be able to think. They need to be able to make mistakes. And that's another thing that we don't forgive a lot in loose lead walking. The mistake making. It's part of the learning process.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, they definitely don't have a place in teaching a dog to walk. And I had a lady comment on my Instagram, I think it was, because there was a slip lead in it. Right. And she said, oh, you know, what a shame. I liked your thing, but I'm so disappointed to see a slip lead. And it's like, but they're only on a dog who's working, and they're not, here's me teaching you how to walk on a, you know, that's not what they're for. They were always intended to just pick up your dog.
That's it. So, and to be specific for people who really have never, come across this world as such.
Yeah.
When you need, when you say working, it means they're actively there to be let go and catch and hunt the prey.
Yes. Yeah. So working will be
right
whatever,
in the moment.
Yeah, whatever that Gundog's bred to do. So retrieving, if it's a retriever, or I mean, to be fair, some of mine did what they're supposed to do because Weimaraner's a hunt point and retrieve. But my middle girl, Faith, we used to go beating, which is just basically running through the undergrowth, putting birds up, which she loved. But yeah, so if you're doing that, you can't do it with a collar because you're going to catch and pull all the time. So you have to be naked. But at the end of it,
moment, fair enough. So we are about to, we need to let go of the dog. Yeah. So slip lead, the dog does
its thing,
and come back to that. And then once we're finished, so say how long? Obviously, I guess is different from a dog, but how long can a dog work? Say that you go to the park now, wherever it is that you're allowed to do this. How long would a session be? When is it too long? When is it, not long enough? What would you say?
So sessions wise, it depends. So, I mean, I offer hours normally, but if it's a really young puppy, I cut that to half an hour.
Yeah.
But if you've got a dog who works, I mean, my dog Cody used to, go out and work for 8 hours and get in the car and go, where are we going now? What next?
Blimey,
and I'd go, well, I'm broken and I'm going home to die.
I need to have like 3 cup of tea to recover.
But he would literally be upright going, that was amazing. What are we doing now? I had a great day. But if I took him to a show, which he found quite stressful and tiring, because it was more mental, he'd come home and sleep all afternoon.
Yeah.
Because he needed to recharge and recover.
Yeah. And would you say also the weather would affect the hunt as such, or the work?
Yeah. I mean, it'll affect it from the point of view of it'll affect what scent's doing, what the birds are doing, and also how hard it is for your dog. So we actually picked up an injury just before my girl's, I think it was a first craft, maybe a second, I can't remember, where the mud was so bad it clogged up on her feet, and she ended up hurting herself. But that was fine. We did physio and we helped her and she's fine. But yes, everything can affect it. And it's like us. If I'm gonna, trudge across the field in my boots on a sunny day, I might get hot and tired, but that's about it. But if I'm going to do it in the mud and it's chucking it down, I'm shattered at the end of it.
Yeah. Of course.
So very much depends. But sessions to offer for Gundog. If you're 1-to-1, it's probably an hour. Some people obviously do groups and it varies. But mine's all 1-to-1.
Yeah. So generally speaking, with a client, you'll be about an hour, say.
Yeah.
The most okay. So
Yeah, it would
during that
only
hour
change, as I
session,
say,
yeah,
if it was a young puppy or if
yeah.
I happen to just see it's not coping for some reason. I had somebody come to me and actually took some videos and said, visit your vet and come back for a free session in the future, kind of thing. So I'll only do what looks safe for the dog and the owner.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. And have you ever found any typically gun dog dogs that just did not enjoy the sport? Has that ever happened?
Not really. I mean, I do a couple of things. So I work with people who are going to work in the field, like farmers, gamekeepers, that kind of thing. And I work with people who have gun dogs who don't necessarily want to do gun dog work, but we might put some kind of gun dog feeling type things in there because maybe they're struggling with their dog running off after, disappearing in a hedge for 15 minutes. So we might use some whistle and movement and sending them in and bringing them out, so that they've got the gun dog feel and that connection feel. But they might not necessarily be doing gun dog for gun dog, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think I've ever had a dog who didn't. The most that I see sometimes will be something like a reluctant retriever, where, you send them out for a retrieve and they're kind of like, not bothered. I had that with a foreign rescue. She'd come over, so she was quite shut down. So we're even teaching her just to kind of move around the field freely and things like that. So when we did the dummy for her, what she felt was pressure because, when it went out, we were like, da, da, da. She was like, oh, this feels like a lot. But what I normally do with things like that, so we'll run out and make it fun and gentle and maybe pop some treats on top. And it's one of her favourite things to do now. But it was obviously done quietly and in a long fashion, and but she wouldn't work. You wouldn't obviously work her in the field, but it's her gun dog element, and she's loving it now.
Okay. So to go back to the if you like, the equipment used.
Yep.
So we addressed the sleep lead, and just to recap there, it's got to be used in a way during the work, because the dog has to be effectively naked to avoid injuries and things.
Yeah.
Once the work is finished, so your session the session is finished, you go, right, time to home now. What do you normally do? Do you put your harness or whatever onto the dog, normal lead on, and off you go? Is that what you would do?
So if it's like a gun dog session, then to be honest, a lot of my gun dogs where we're just doing things for fun, they will do that and they'll have a collar and lead, because I won't necessarily be sending them into like cover and forests and things like that. If I'm working with somebody, like a gamekeeper or something, and that's going to be done, then yes, we'd not have a collar and they'd be naked. So it depends on what we're doing. But generally, for people who are just looking for help with their gun dog and to, give them a channel for their instincts, I will use the collar lead. That will just stay on, and we just unclip the lead, and we do what we're doing. So that's fine. If I was working in the field, so like me, for instance, I would turn up with my slip lead. We'd go to wherever we were going to work. It would come off when we were told to start working. It would go on at the end, and it would be on the vehicle back to wherever we were going, and then I'd take it off and we'd go home, and that would be it. And sometimes with Faith, I will actually take it down the park for her. So she'll be on a collar, but I might take my slip lead, but only because she barely spends any time on. And for me, it's just quicker to just drape it over her shoulders and pull it off again. But again, it's never what you see as a slip lead, as in it's not here. It's like draped around her chest, just hanging there.
That's the other thing also, because there are effectively two types of slip leads. Am I right? There is the one that probably, sadly, is the one that is most popular, where effectively the string goes around this hole, if you like, this steering or o-ring, and then whenever the thing is around the dog's neck, it just pulls. Wherever there is a minimum pull, even if it's just the dog going down to the ground, the pull is almost immediate around the kind of strangling effect. Almost immediate. But then there is also another one where you can actually measure how much, or kind of fake measuring how much leave there is around the neck. So in that respect is what probably your dog feels like. Is almost like wearing a long necklace
Yes.
rather than having something around the neck. Is that?
Yeah, so I don't actually know the two types. I only know the one with the ring that you put it on, and then if you want to keep it in a certain place, so say you were putting it around here, you'd put the ring up there so it wouldn't then fall. So if at some point they pull, they are going to really feel it. That's the only one I know. So she has one of those, but the ring is somewhere halfway down it. Yeah. And it would literally be like a long necklace.
You're kind of moving the ring around, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not fixed there. There
no,
are
not
with
fixed.
The fixed ring.
I didn't realise that.
Yeah. So
no.
Effectively then the dog is has that.
Yeah, it's stuck kind of there all the time kind of thing.
Practically all the time.
Yeah, no.
Which is very.
And I would not put it on my girl down the park if she was a puller. But believe it or not, she was born loose lead walking. She's just crazy. She's just loved it. That's why I competed in obedience with her, because she just, from the time I first took her out, would just trot along gazing up at you.
Wow.
So I didn't really have to work hard with her. So I'm not going to pretend this was wonderful training. I mean, I did make it better, but she just was born like that. Yeah. So if she was a puller, I wouldn't put that on her. So my girl Rosa, she would pull. She's my daughter's dog, so I wouldn't put that on her at all. It wouldn't go near Rosa, because she would end up feeling hurt.
And that's then another thing I'll go back to. Even as we mentioned craft, I like to go back to that. But that could be, literally your neighbors down the street. So you see the guys, the people also, if you have ever been, I know you have, but people listening that have ever been to craft, if you go on Gundogs Day, you see all the people dressed up as well. Isn't it funny?
Yes.
They literally
I've dressed up.
They're really into it. I love it. Like, it's Gundog Day, like first 5 minutes of the day.
Yeah.
So brilliant though. I really, I love that. But yeah, so during the day when the dog is not working, they're still, they're still on the sleep lead. They're already using the sleep lead. And then you ask them, why? And they go, oh, because it's working. But it's not. You're literally doing your shopping around, or you're at the park, you're at whatever. So your dog is not working.
No.
You're just, having a good job. So why do you have to use it? It doesn't work in any other way, or otherwise it pulls. There is always something to say, and it's really upsetting, isn't it? Because
I think if you've got your dog in a slip lead and you're saying it's the only way because otherwise it pulls, then it's got to be the pain effect that is stopping the pull, because otherwise the slip lead wouldn't make a difference. And in which case then why? Because then you should be teaching it to walk on a loose lead and or have a collar and a lead on it,
And that's what, that's again what I kind of always profess, and probably so do you, on going, right, okay, when he's working, fair enough, there are things that actually to protect the dog, to make sure it doesn't hurt himself, and that's why it's got to be naked after, fair enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Then the session is over, whether it's 8 hours like your super dog, or probably, I don't know, the normal hour for normal people, normal dogs. But say, the time of the work is over, and I am just walking around the park, maybe I'll get an ice cream, I don't know, with my dog. The sleep lead then is something that people are just using, I don't know, out of maybe not having had the time with the patient to train the dog to walk nicely on the lead. But I always feel like those people must know that the dog is in some sort of pain. When the dog goes, like, poor thing is struggling, God, surely you must know that is the collar, the sleep lead doing this.
From what I see, I think that what happens, so looking back to when I started out and didn't know anything at all, I think what happens with a lot, not all, but a lot, is when they haven't successfully taught their dog to loose lead walk, and it is a really common issue that people can't seem to do this, and I can see a lot of the reasons why, especially the way it's taught in a lot of places, but when they can't, it becomes a toss-up, and I do kind of get this between how painful it is for them and how painful it is for their dog. And whilst it isn't right, there are people who have sustained injuries where, and so they then go, this stops it, and that's my choice. And so I see how they get to it, but actually what needs to happen is better education on how we can avoid that. Yeah. Because you're essentially, you're sacrificing one or the other until somebody teaches the dog and you, because it's obviously it's a lot about the other end of the lead. One of the biggest things that I speak to people about, when you see people who have had problems with loose lead walking, and you must know this, one of the biggest things that they come to you with is frustration. Yeah. And they can't manage their frustration when it goes. And one of the first things I normally say is, when you feel like that, if I just simply said to you, stop, could you turn it off? And obviously the answer is always no. And it's like, right, but that's what your dog's experiencing, but you're angry at your dog or frustrated at your dog or whatever, because it can't just turn it off.
Exactly.
Like you have to help it learn how to emotionally regulate through the difficult places where it can't offer loose lead walking, because it's overwhelmed, it's over threshold, it's overexcited, it's over whatever, it's a big emotion. Because you're telling me you can't manage yours, but you're expecting your dog to manage theirs without someone teaching it how.
Exactly. And this is so important as well, because we work with children a lot, teaching our children of any age to regulate their emotion is super important. I have a teenage daughter now, and I see this even more, and she's neurodivergent. So
me too.
Everything on top of everything else, and this is effectively we as parents of children and parents of dogs. This is our job, and sometimes it's hard for us as well.
Oh yeah,
our emotion. But I guess with becoming adults, I was alpha adults. Becoming adult, life experiences and all that can teach you to go, right, okay, what do I do in this situation? I know myself well enough to know that this is going to be stressful for me. This is going to be
when to say no, when to avoid it, all those kind of things.
What can I do to either prevent it, or if I'm in it, what can I do to make myself feel better? And this is what then we want to teach our children. And,
yes, exactly. And what you can look for your children before they know. And that's what we need to do for our dogs. We need to look and go, is this the right situation for my dog? Is this the right situation today? Because yesterday we had a horrible experience. Should we just skip today and maybe do some scent work or go elsewhere or da-da-da-da-da? But they can't make those choices. So they could have a really bad walk, be totally over threshold, totally frazzled, and then we go and out we go because I feel you have to have a walk because that's the requirement. And I know, obviously, there is the whole, you have to walk your dog, you should walk your dog. But I will have days, again, Gabriella's dog, Rosa, where you get a collar and lead out and she goes, nah. And it's clear as day. And she is very emotional, very sensitive. And if she says nah, we just go, okay, darling, no worries.
Yeah, it's up to her.
We do something else. But she will very clearly say when she doesn't want to go for a walk.
Yeah.
And so we just respect that.
Listening to them, And one of our Calipro professionals, Nikki French, she wrote a lovely book I've seen, Stop Walking Your Dog.
That's right.
And this is something that we advocate as well. And so many lovely activities that the children can be involved with as well. On helping when those days are just not walking days.
And I always say as well, it's a little bit like horses and reins. The quieter you can be and the softer you can be, especially with overexcited, overwhelmed, big emotion type dogs, the more they will actually listen. The heavier you get, the worse it gets. They will just disconnect and not want to know, and they'll check out because it's just not nice.
Yeah, and it's funny because this is also quite related to, especially neurodivergent kids, is the louder you are, a lot of them anyway, not everyone is the same, but if you're too loud, they might actually have to disconnect because they can't
cope.
So it's funny again how we see a lot of connection between dogs and kids.
And I think that is, again, a lot of the reason why I like what I've kind of ended up in, because I get a lot of neurodivergent owners And I'm sure it's because I'm neurodivergent, and I pick up on a lot of things, and how it doesn't have to be big things that make a difference. It can be the smallest of things. Loose lead walking, another really good example, talking about here how my first lesson for the dog would be leash pressure, and what, high kind of means. For the owner, it's normally breath work, because they normally bring expectations the moment they pick up the lead. So when we as an owner who's just learning any of this, you pick up the lead and you're like, right, we're gonna loose, and it's the opposite of what you want to bring. You want to just bring peace and calm, and we're just gonna poodle off and all of, and it makes a huge difference. I've literally seen dogs having a terrible time trying to loose lead walk, and I've taken the owner and we've done a bit of mindfulness, and I make them do mindfulness while they walk instead of worrying about their dog, and their dog walks with them. So,
sometimes, when you are almost distracted, not completely distracted, obviously, it's always but when you're not so focused as to, get stressed, get worried and agitated, those walks are the absolute best.
And when you focus on a dog who's when you focus on a dog who's stressed, it stresses you, and then stresses them, and then you and them. But if you can cut that off and just be about your own peace, they love to join that.
Absolutely. There was something else I wanted to point out as well. I've done a video recently on the 3Ds. So
I was going to watch that.
Direct, duration, and distraction.
Distance,
This again, I will tag the video to this as well. This again is an opportunity to remind folks of the 3Ds, how they are. Like they're the foundation, the basics of everything. Is it something that you're also using when teaching Gundog sessions?
In my little booklet that I showed you before, I've got one on the 3Ds. Because it's really important, because if as a new owner you wouldn't have a concept of that making a difference, but it really does matter, because how much pressure, again, and it is about pressure, distance, attraction, and duration. If you're adding all three of those, you're adding 3 times the pressure whilst trying to teach something. I'll often use analogies like, I don't know, say you're trying to learn how to drive a car. They don't go, and this is how you do the mirrors, and this is blah, 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 and then take you out on a motorway. They go, this is how you move off, and this is how you stop, and we're in some back alley somewhere where we're not
really dodgy.
But so often you'll do a lesson with somebody on loose lead walking, and even when you've explained it, they'll come back next week and say they struggled in the forest.
Or I was at the park at lunchtime with another million people.
Exactly. So without that knowledge, I think, you're a bit doomed to failure as a new owner, because you don't understand why things are going wrong. Because if you're putting more than one in, or you're adding all 3, it will go wrong. Sometimes
things do go wrong, and that's what you were saying before as well. We need to accept that we all make mistakes, and we can just change what we're doing, see why we made that mistake. Did we push it too much? Was I not in the right frame of mind to go out for a walk, but I made myself, and then look what happened in a way. So there is a lot to consider there. Nina, if anyone wants to learn from you, how do they get in touch? How do they find you?
I will tell you that, but can I say one thing about what you just said?
Of course,
my favourite phrase that I tell all my clients to keep remembering and to keep saying to themselves is, failure is feedback. I always say failure is feedback. So basically, don't look at the exercise and go, we failed. Just go like, what caused this not to work out quite how I wanted? Was it because I threw something too far, or like you said, wrong frame of mind? But stop going, we failed, and just go like, what's my feedback for next time? And that's it. Because that is the hardest thing. People who are trying to accomplish anything, when it doesn't go exactly to plan, it's then just called failure. It's like, I failed, I didn't succeed, we went out and they pulled, and we failed. It's like 80% of the walk could have been good, but the 20% will be that walk was a failure. And it's like, no, 80% was good, and you got feedback for 20% on what to change next time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. I think we do that a lot, as I think humans in general. How many times you get maybe a compliment for something or
Oh
20
yeah.
compliments, and there's that one little criticism, and that's all you're thinking about.
Yeah, that's all
Nothing
you
else. The
take with
compliments don't
you.
exist. So
Yeah,
it's the same thing, isn't it?
totally.
Hopefully, yeah, if we can be a bit more positive and positive thinking
Yeah,
as well, we should be more optimistic and see just how well we do
yeah.
in a lot of the things. And the things that we don't do so well, as you said, we can use it as a feedback.
Yeah.
To,
And I
yeah,
think kinder to ourselves as well, because a lot of that just comes from the pressure we put on ourselves to
yeah, yeah,
to be whatever we view as successful. So
yeah,
yeah, I think just trying to be a bit kinder to ourselves
yeah,
and a
yeah.
bit more compassionate to our dogs and
Exactly.
yeah,
When I see as
definitely.
well my own dog Winnie, a golden retriever, so she now walks really nicely, really great. But she didn't arrive in this house
No.
walking like that. We put a
Yeah,
lot of work into it, put a lot of times and things like this, selecting the right places to go that day, and
yeah,
while working around the fact, when was my child in school, when can they do it? So it wasn't easy, and so, but it's
yeah,
beautiful to see that. Look, now she walks really nicely, but yeah, people either believe that magic made it happen, or or
yeah.
they have a really really high expectation on dogs, but it didn't. Yeah, magic had nothing to do with it, unfortunately.
No,
There was a lot
no.
of work, a lot of time, and a lot of feedback.
Yeah.
But
But it's
yeah,
so
it's,
worth it
it's
in the
worth
end,
it
isn't
though.
it? Because
Yeah,
once you get it,
absolutely.
you have those beautiful
Yeah,
walks that you're aiming for originally. But,
absolutely. Yeah.
as a parting thing, that, when teaching loose lead walking, like no slip leads. It's
No,
not at all
very
for
true.
teaching
Very
loose
true.
lead walking at all. It is literally for dogs who can actually walk nicely on a loose lead and you want to pick them up in the field and you want to let them off and they don't have a collar for you to clip a lead onto.
Yeah, while they're working. Yeah.
Just slip lead if you're
Yeah.
not planning on
And
working
just
your
to,
dog.
to be clear as well on the collar that you mentioned, we're talking about flat collars or harnesses as well.
Yes, yeah,
Flat
yeah, yeah,
harness, collar
yeah.
harness, for
And
instance.
it's also worth saying as well, nothing to do with this podcast, but harnesses, a lot of people don't think about the fact that you should still have a collar with a tag on it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see a lot
To be
lot of
fair, yeah, to be
harnesses
fair,
where
you can
people
have,
don't
yeah,
realise.
on my dog's harness, we have the tag attached to the harness. Yeah, so there are ways as well to do that, or I
Yeah,
think with some harness you can even like embroidery. But this is, yeah, absolutely, the tag is part of the law, so you
yeah,
need to have
yeah,
ways for people to find you should you have lost your dog, and it's
yeah.
go to have that, absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
So
unless you're
Nina,
working your dog, you don't need a slip lead.
thank you so much. I really, yeah, I'm
You're
enjoying
welcome.
this. Thank you.
Yeah, I hate seeing that. I hate seeing all the videos of the dogs where you can see that they're on their slip lead and somebody's saying how wonderful and everyone's going, oh, that's so amazing, and it's like, but the dog is not happy. It's not got a relaxed body. Its tail's not wagging. It's just cramped up like this, just trying to avoid somebody tugging on the lead. So
Exactly. And it's not fair because again, when we're talking about energy and choices, that dog did not have a choice. That was the
no,
human's choice to go, this
yeah.
is easier for me. If it even is, because sometimes they're just still pulling like mad.
I I I I honestly
You haven't even solved anything. You know what I mean?
No, I
I find it,
honestly
I find
think
it
that
bizarre
they
that
make life harder because it's
yeah,
stressful,
yeah,
being
on
choked while
everyone.
you walk. So I think actually
Yes.
it's harder.
Some things just makes absolutely no sense to me. But again, when I think about feeling uncomfortable and we're talking about physical thing, when a dog pulls, obviously it can
Yeah,
be hard on your joints and everything.
yeah,
But I'm thinking if my dog is pulling, first of all, there is, I'm not doing something right. But
yeah.
also, if he's wearing a slip lead and he's pulling and he's hurt himself, that is a pain that I would feel like in my heart, my soul. I could never allow
Well,
that. Yeah.
and I think I said just before we start to press record, like the list of damage, like real
Yes,
damage. So
yes.
not just emotional damage and not just this is uncomfortable, but collapsed trachea. I know people whose dogs have had that. Like disc injuries where people are yanking and that's all their neck and everything.
Yeah.
Eye pressure, the amount of dogs you'll see who are pulling on on a slip lead, bright red eyes, all the veins are up, everything like that. That's not good for them.
This is especially important as well when you have flat-faced dogs like pugs and stuff, where their eyes are already, kind of out. This could be even more, they could be even more prone to that kind of issue.
Yeah, you've got thyroid in that area as well. So repeated pressure on that. So then, it's not even just about emotional feelings or discomfort. It's actual damage that it can do if you're
injury.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for pointing that out.
That's okay. We digressed a bit there.
No, it's completely on the point as well, and it's probably something that maybe many people don't realize that this happens.
No, I wouldn't have known with my first dog. I wouldn't.
No, exactly.
If somebody advised me to get one and use one, I would have trusted them because, when
I'd be like, oh, they're doing it, so maybe it's
this
right.
Must be the way you do it.
So you don't know what you don't know, and that's why we're ahead.
Exactly. You're at where you're at, aren't you? Definitely.
Yeah. How can people find you if they want to get in touch with you?
So I am at confidentcanine.co.uk, my main website to work with me. I've got an online platform, that's holisticdog.uk. And I'm on pretty much every piece of social media. So you could look me up. I'm normally, if you put in Nina Fotara, which is obviously Fotara, and KCAIWG, because I've just recently got my Kennel Club accredited instructor for working Gundogs. So I've bunged that everywhere now. So you can find me by popping that in normally as well. So I'm fairly easy to find.
And I'll also make sure to put your link in the descriptions as well, so people can find
Super,
you.
Lovely. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much for coming, for taking the time, and chatting about such an important topic that, again,
it is really
very precious
important
to my heart. And especially, again, I want to see we dedicate a lot of our jobs, a lot of our hours to working with children, and I do want to see kids learning in a more
ethical
way. Exactly. So I'm really happy to be able to share this piece.
And kids are great with energy.
They are, aren't they? They have too much of it. They suck it out of you. They keep it for themselves.
Leave you with none.
But we love them. That's why we work with them so much. Without their energy, some lessons would not be as fun, would they?
No, definitely not.
Absolutely. Thank you again so much, Nina.
You're welcome.
Today. We see you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Kids around dogs, we're gonna make it okay.